Song of Hrormir. Hrormir, son of Hrorgar, summoned to the court of Vyndak, son of Vynmore, king of Evensnow. Mighty caster of magic, I charge thee to go to Elfindor, for its hoary warriors do threaten my land, and bring forth their cousin demons to terrify my people. Hrormir, son of Hrorgar, heard the words of Vyndak Evensnow. By Ice Staff, surely I would help thee, but I have already a quest to drink 12 flagons of mead in 1 hour, and then to bed 4 wenches twice each, so I must with grace decline. The king he did not smile at Hrormir and his jolly spirit. By thine honour must thou aidest my cause, for must thou takest up the sword of thy companion Darfang, who took the quest and failed. Hrormir laughed. Now I know thou jest. My boon mate Darfang wouldst not fail. There be no finer bladesman. If thou chargest him, he wouldst not fall. I did not say he fell. He joined the dark kings of Elfindor, and by doing so dishonoured himself and thee, his friend. Hrormir could not believe the words, and yet he knew Eversnow didst not lie. So for 20 days and 3 rodeth he to the land of night, the kingdom of fear, where the peasants ever carried candles, knowing what evil awaiteth them should they stray beyond the glow. The sovereignty of 3 dark kings, Elfindor. There, torch in hand, didst Hrormir pass through haunted countryside and frightened villages, and through the black gates of the blacker castle of Elfindor. The 3 dark kings didst sneer at the sight of mighty Hrormir, and summoned they their champion Darfang the Blade. My boon companion, Hrormir called in the hall of night. I dare not trust my eyes, for then I wouldst believe that thou hast joined with evil, and turned thy way from honour and brotherhood. Hrormir, Darfang the Blade didst cry, if thou dost not go now, one of us must die, for I hate thee. But Hrormir was battle-ready, and in the echoing halls of night, the blade of Darfang and the staff of Hrormir didst strike again and yet again. Mighty warriors and mages both, the boon companions now foes, shook Mundus with their war. They might have fought for a year, if there were sun in Elfindor to mark time, and either Hrormir or Darfang may verily have won. But Hrormir saweth through the dark, the tears in the eyes of his former friend, and then he saweth the shadow of Darfang wert not his own. And so with Ice Staff he did strike not Darfang, but his shadow, which cried, Hold, mortal man! The shadow becameth the hag, bent and twisted in her cloak and hood. From her faceless shadows she hissed, Mortal man called Hrormir, the soul of thy boon companion is my plaything. But I will take thine in trade, for though ye both have strong arms, thou hast the more clever mind, which my sons the dark kings need for a champion of Elfindor. Hrormir the brave didst not take a breath, or pause before he boldly said, Shadowy hag, release Darfang, and thou mayest use me as thou will. The hag didst laugh and freed Darfang. To save thine honour this thou hast done, but now thou must be without honour, mortal man, as the champion of the dark kings, my heirs of grey may be. Thou must help them divide Elfindor, and love me, thy shadowy hag, and thy mistress well. For his loss of honour and his dear friend's sacrifice, noble Darfang prepared to take his dagger and plunge it into his good heart, but Hrormir stayed his brother's hand and whispered, No, boon companion, wait for me at the village banquet hall. And then did Darfang the Blade leave the castle, while Hrormir took the withered claw of the hag and pressed it to his lips. Shadowy hag, to thee I pledge to only honour thy black words, to turn my back on truth, to aid thy dark king's ambition, to divide their inheritance fairly, to love thee, to think thee beautiful. Then to the chamber in the heart of night Hrormir and the hag did retire. Kissed he there her wrinkled lips and her wrinkled sagging breasts. For 10 days and nights and 3 did Hrormir and his ice staff battle thus. Then sweet Kinnereth blew honeyed winds o'er the hills and forest glens of Elfindor, and the caress of warm-blooded Dibella coaxed the blossoms to wanton display, so that Elfindor became a garden of all the senses. The frightened servants of the Dark Kings woke to find there was naught to fear, and through the once dark streets of the village came the cries of celebration. In the banquet hall of the village, Hrormir and his boon companion Darfang embraced and drank of rich mead. The shadowy hag, too, was smiling, sleeping still in her soft bed, until the morning sun touched her naked face. And she awoke, and saw all, and knew all saw her, and she cried out, "Mortal man!" Night fell fast upon the land, as the hag flew into the banquet hall, casting blackest darkness in her wake. But all the celebrants still could see her anger in her monstrous face, and they shook with fear. The hag had said the kingdom was to be divided among her heirs, but Elfindor had been kept whole, while her children divided, drawn and quartered. Hrormir was mightily amused. He swallowed his laughter in his mead, for none should laugh outright at the Daedra Lord Nocturnal. Without her grey cowl of shadowed night, her hideous face forced the moons to hide themselves. Hrormir the mighty did not quail. "Wherest be thine hood, shadowy hag?" "Mortal man has taken it from me unaware. When I awoke, my face unmasked, my kingdom cast into the light, my dark king airs and pieces cast, and here my champion smiles. Yet in truth thou kept thy promise truly, to never keep thy promise true." Hrormir, son of Hrorgar, bowed to the hag, his queen. "And evermore, till thou releaseth me, will I serve thee so." A clever mind in a champion is a much overvalued trait. The hag released Hrormir's soul, and he released her hood. And so in the light of darkest dark she left Elfindor evermore. And after drinking 12 flagons of mead, and bedding 4 wenches twice each, did Darfang return to Eversnow, with Hrormir, son of Hrorgar.